Brampton, Ontario, a city once known for its quiet suburban charm, now at the center of one of the most heated debates in Canada. Is it truly dominated by one cultural group? Are crime rates spiraling out of control? Why are car insurance premiums some of the highest in the country? And what exactly is happening behind the closed doors of City Hall? Over the next few minutes, we're going deeper than the headlines, peeling back the layers with hard facts, real numbers, and on-the-ground stories. What you're about to hear might not be what you expect, and it could change the way you see Brampton forever. 1. Is Brampton predominantly Indian? Brampton has undergone a transformation that few Canadian cities have experienced at such speed. Back in the 1980s, Brampton was largely suburban and overwhelmingly white. Fast forward to 2021, and the population has surged past 656,000, growing by over 10% in just 5 years. This growth has brought with it a massive demographic shift. Over half of Brampton's population, roughly 52%, now identifies as South Asian. That's not just a vague cultural observation, it's a concrete statistic from the latest census. Within that group, the largest share is of Indian origin, more than 180,000 people. In day-to-day life, that translates to vibrant cultural events, religious celebrations, and entire business districts catering to Indian tastes and traditions. Immigration patterns play a huge role here. Between 2016 and 2021 alone, more than 50,000 newcomers arrived in Brampton, with around 34,000 coming directly from India. These new arrivals didn't just settle randomly, they chose Brampton because of family ties, job prospects, and an already established Indian community. The result? Streets lined with Indian grocery stores, clothing boutiques filled with saris and sherwanis, and restaurants serving everything from North Indian butter chicken to South Indian dosas. Religious life is equally visible. Gurdwaras, Hindu temples and mosques are central community hubs. This kind of cultural clustering isn't unique to Brampton. Cities like Surrey in British Columbia or Richmond in Vancouver have similar concentrations of Chinese-Canadian communities. It's a global migration pattern. People tend to settle where their culture feels at home. Still, such rapid change can cause friction. Some long-time residents worry about cultural integration and housing competition, while others see it as proof of Canada's multicultural promise. Either way, one thing is clear. Brampton is now one of the most Indian-influenced cities in the country, and that identity is shaping its future. 2. Is crime high in Brampton? If you only listen to sensational social media posts, you might think Brampton is unsafe. Yet Peel region, which includes Brampton, has overall crime rates that are actually lower than the provincial and national averages. In 2024, there were about 3,164 reported crimes per 100,000 residents, well below Ontario's 4,454 and Canada's 5,143. Even violent crime is lower here, with rates roughly 25% below the provincial average. That means that in terms of assaults, robberies, and other violent offences, Brampton is not the war zone some might imagine. In fact, statistically, you're less likely to be a victim of violent crime here than in many other Canadian cities. However, there is one crime category where Brampton stands out: auto theft. In 2023 alone, the total cost of auto theft claims in Brampton was nearly $93 million, second only to Toronto. Police attribute this to organized crime rings that target high-end vehicles, often using sophisticated technology to steal them in minutes and ship them overseas. The impact goes beyond those directly affected. When theft claims rise, insurance companies pass on the cost to all drivers. This is one of the key reasons car insurance in Brampton is so expensive, a point we'll dig into further in the next section. Residents also express concerns about fraud, home break-ins, and gang-related incidents. While numbers in these categories don't surpass the national average, their visibility in media and community discussions keeps safety top of mind. The truth is complex. Brampton is safer than its reputation suggests in most categories, but the auto theft crisis is real and growing. Addressing it requires coordinated action between local police, provincial lawmakers, and even federal agencies tackling international crime networks. 3. Are accidents really worse here? Brampton drivers have earned a reputation, fair or not, for being among the most expensive to insure in Canada. Average annual premiums range between $2,500 and $3,800, making it one of the highest in the province. But here's the twist. Collision rates in Brampton aren't significantly worse than in other GTA cities. In fact, personal injury collisions per capita in Brampton are below the Ontario average. So why the sky-high premiums? It comes down to two main factors: auto theft, which we've already covered, and population density. More cars on the road mean more chances for minor fender benders and insurance claims, even if serious accidents aren't common. Peel Region has adopted a Vision Zero strategy, a global movement aimed at eliminating road deaths and serious injuries. They've been adding speed cameras, redesigning intersections, and launching public awareness campaigns to reduce risky driving behaviors. Still, accidents happen. In the past 2 years, Brampton and Mississauga recorded over 1,200 collisions involving pedestrians, with 24 resulting in fatalities. These numbers underscore the need for better pedestrian safety measures and enforcement of traffic laws. The combination of theft, insurance fraud, and congestion has created a perfect storm for drivers' wallets. Even the most careful motorist ends up paying inflated premiums due to systemic risks. It's not that Brampton's roads are uniquely unsafe. It's that the broader ecosystem of theft, claims, and urban congestion has made driving here one of the costliest propositions in Canada. 4. What's going on in local government? Brampton's city government manages a massive budget, funding transit systems, emergency services, public parks, and road maintenance. On paper, it's a standard municipal operation, but in practice, political tensions and controversy have been frequent visitors to City Hall. Internal audits in recent years flagged concerns about sole-sourced contracts, deals awarded without competitive bidding. While legal under certain circumstances, these arrangements raise questions about fairness, transparency, and value for taxpayers. One of the most contentious episodes was the proposed Brampton University project. Initially pitched as a way to expand local post-secondary options, it quickly became mired in accusations of mismanagement and questionable contracting. A forensic audit was launched in 2022 to investigate, but it was later stopped before completion, despite preliminary findings suggesting possible conflicts of interest. For many residents, halting the audit was a blow to public trust. Supporters of the decision argued that the project had become too politically charged and was unlikely to move forward regardless of the audit's outcome. Critics countered that transparency should come before political convenience. These episodes highlight a gap between the city's financial compliance — Brampton's books are audited annually by independent firms — and the political decision-making process. The numbers might add up, but the governance process needs work to earn public confidence. 5. Is there corruption? The term corruption is serious, and in the absence of criminal convictions, it's more accurate to talk about governance issues. What Brampton has faced is not proven criminality, but rather documented lapses in transparency and oversight. When internal reports point to process gaps, especially around multi-million-dollar contracts, it naturally fuels public skepticism. The halted Brampton University audit became a symbol of this problem, a reminder that perception can be as damaging as reality when it comes to public trust. The good news is that there are straightforward policy fixes: stronger conflict of interest rules, mandatory open bidding for contracts above a certain threshold, and clear public reporting on procurement decisions could all rebuild confidence. These issues are not unique to Brampton. Cities across Canada grapple with similar governance challenges, especially when political loyalties or local business relationships intersect with public spending. But Brampton's rapid growth and demographic change make transparency even more critical. In a city where newcomers are building their futures, trust in local government must be earned and maintained. The challenge for Brampton's leadership is to close these policy gaps before they harden into a permanent reputation problem. Because once the corruption label sticks in the public's mind, it's incredibly hard to remove. 6. Are they taking over Canada? Step back from Brampton and look at the national picture. In 2023, Canada welcomed a record-breaking 471,550 new permanent residents. India was by far the top source country, with hundreds of thousands more arriving as international students. In fact, around 233,000 study permits were issued to Indian nationals that year alone. Many of these students head straight to the GTA, where housing, jobs, and social networks are already in place. And cities like Brampton offer both cultural familiarity and economic opportunity. Nationally, people of Indian origin make up about 3 to 4% of the population. In Brampton, that figure is far higher, which explains the city's unique cultural character compared to other parts of Canada. This isn't unusual in global migration patterns. Immigrant communities often cluster in specific regions, building concentrated hubs that blend their traditions with local culture. These hubs become both entry points for newcomers and engines for economic activity. Whether this is framed as a takeover or simply the outcome of immigration policy depends on perspective. The federal government sets immigration levels. Cities like Brampton deal with the local impacts, both the benefits and the challenges. The real debate should be about how to scale infrastructure, housing, and services to match population growth, not about who's moving in. Now that you've seen the full picture, the data, the trends, and the context, the next step is yours. Drop a respectful, solution-focused comment. Should Brampton prioritize cracking down on auto theft, making City Hall more transparent, improving road safety, or managing growth better? And if this video replaced rumors with reality for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. The most constructive ideas will be pinned, and I'll invite local leaders to respond in a follow-up episode. Let's make this a conversation about solutions, not just problems.